Oh, hello, lovers of potpourri all over the world. It's Paulus, the Cabaret Geek here. Now, I must explain, I'm just about to go online and entertain a women's institute group and tell them about the history of cabaret. So I'm talking to you because I'm sort of halfway through my makeup and I've got a bit of extra time, but I haven't done my lippy because I'll ruin it and I haven't got my costume on yet. Anyway, so some of you might have seen my previous video about potpourri and my starting to make it last year as a side hustle. As a creative, as a freelance entertainer, COVID meant that there were no opportunities to perform live or to teach live, and I have been able to do a few things online, but not a lot. So I've got this garden full of roses and I thought, well, let's do something with my hands and make a little bit of pin money and create my first bit of merch. The most glamorous rock and roll merchandise you can think of. Potpourri. Yes, potpourri. And I have 3 varieties and I've sold it. I've sold it to Canada, I've sold it to a woman in California and all over the UK, and it's hand turned every day for 8 weeks once it's dried and the essential oils are put in to ensure that it lasts for a good 12 months or more. And so far, none of my customers have complained about that. But the reason for today's video is to tell you that the harvest for this year's potpourri is well underway. Because of a lot of gifts of roses over the winter time, and sadly because of a bereavement I got a lot as well, and it meant that I've already been able to start, and I have got 3 really cool things to tell you. Number 1 is that I've been able to reduce the price significantly by, number 2, reducing the size of my packaging and therefore the cost of the postage. So less packaging going around the world and less cost to my buyer. And number 3, I've improved all of my 3 varieties of potpourri. I know you can't smell these, but this is my new swanky, nicely packed, so all of the freshness stays in there, and your guaranteed 12 months don't start until you unwrap this. But I've got turned on to some really cool ideas by lovely people writing to me and giving me recommendations, and a little book. I got a present from a lady called Stella. Thank you, Stella, for my little book on potpourri. I learnt about orris root, which is a really good fixative. I didn't know what that was last year, but luckily I was using a natural fixative in some of my varieties. Now I'm using it in all of them. I found out that bay leaves make a fantastic addition and add a bit of greenery to your potpourri. They dry brilliantly, and I've got a bay leaf bush that I planted 2 years ago and it's really quite large now, so that is a no-brainer. I've also started to add rosemary. I'm doing some experiments with sage at the moment. Not sure how that's going to work out. I don't know if it's going to dry very well, but anyway, lots going on, really exciting, to the extent and this is the really funny bit, that I was contacted last month by a man in America who works for NPR. And if you don't know what NPR is, my understanding of the situation is that's public radio, the sort of thing that Lisa Simpson will listen to, as opposed to watching Fox News. And this man in New Hampshire, he has a radio station and also a podcast, and he wanted to interview me about my potpourri. So watch this space for the interview and possibly the podcast that I did with this lovely man called Taylor Quimby about my rock and roll merchandise. And if you'd like to buy some or just find out a little bit more about my my merch, you can go to thecabaretgeek.com/shop at any time and pre-order even before the season begins. So yay for potpourri and the uncoolest thing I could possibly sell to people. Thanks very much for watching. I'm the Cabaret Geek, and I'll see you next time, if we're saved.